Coming in at number 5 is Tower 25 in Nicosia. An unusual house is located in Nicosia. The author of the project is the famous architect from France Jean Nouvel, winner of the Pritzker Prize. The building, which looks like a punch card, was named Tower 25. A large number of windows measuring 40 by 40 centimeters are randomly scattered along the facade of the 18-story building. In terms of height, which reaches 67 m, Tower 25 took the fourth place among high-rise buildings in Cyprus. On the two lower floors of the punch card house there are retail areas, on the next 6 floors there are offices, another 10 floors are occupied by residential real estate. It is worth noting that the windows of residential and office premises, unlike green balconies, are glazed. On the upper floors of the building there is a duplex apartment with a rooftop pool. Coming in at number 4 is Velasca Tower in Milan, Italy. The first thing that catches your eye from the observation deck on the roof of the Milan Cathedral is a powerful red-brown tower that looks like a giant in a crowd of midgets. If it were not for its size, it could be mistaken for an ancient fortification, but 110 m in height betray the modern origin of the Velasca Tower, the first Milanese skyscraper. The skyscraper, built in the 1950s in Milan by BBPR Studio, was supposed to symbolize the new architecture of Italy. The height of the structure is 100 m. On the panoramas of the city it stands out strongly against the background of historical buildings. The building was named after Don Juan Fernando de Velasco, who was the governor of Milan in the late 16th, early 17th century. The shape of the building is a modern interpretation of a typical Italian medieval castle. Such defensive towers were used during the war to protect castles from invasion. The skyscraper has a red-brown facade, the upper floors are larger than the lower ones and are supported by special supports. Residential apartments are located upstairs, the rest of the premises are occupied by offices and commercial spaces. The construction was met with an ambiguous reaction. The main claim was called the spoiled panorama of the city, where the famous Duomo used to dominate. The Daily Telegraph has included the tower in its ranking of the world's ugliest buildings. Coming in at number 3 is National Library in Minsk, Republic of Belarus. The authors of the project of the building of the National Library of Belarus are architects Mikhail Vinogradov and Viktor Kromerenko. Back in the late 1980s, this work became the winner of the All-Union competition, but construction began only on November 2, 2002. There was not enough funding. $500,000 for the construction of a new building, according to some sources, was donated by Saddam Hussein. The construction of the library was completed in 2006. The building immediately began to be called a diamond due to its unusual multifaceted shape, which seems to stand on a stand. The 23-story building can accommodate up to 2,000 people at the same time. A complex shape, a rhombic octahedron, should refer to the diamond cut and symbolize the pricelessness of knowledge. The design includes 8 triangles and 18 squares, tied into one shape. Critics call the building nothing but a geometric nightmare. At night, the volume is highlighted, which makes it even more monstrous. Coming in at number 2 is Elephant Building in Bangkok, Thailand. The elephant is the national symbol of Thailand, and there is logic in the decision to give one of the office buildings the appearance of this noble animal. Another thing is that the final result was, to put it mildly, controversial. Even for 1997, when the high-rise was built, it looked unoriginal and out of date. It seems that the architect loves right angles with all his heart and denies the existence of smooth shapes and lines. As a result, the structure looks like it was assembled by a preschooler from a cheap constructor. Nevertheless, although the elephant cannot boast of beauty, however, it has become an attraction of the Thai capital and consistently spoils photos of foreign tourists. The construction caused a mixed reaction among critics. Architectural Digest magazine and the Daily Telegraph newspaper included it in their ratings of the world's ugliest buildings. Coming in at number 1 is Mirador Building in Madrid, Spain. The creators of the project, the Dutch company MVRDV and the Spanish architect Blanca Leo, had the task of diversifying the overall architectural style of an ordinary residential area. And the architects cope with this task. The building cannot but attract the eye. The construction of the house was completed in 2005. There are 156 apartments in it, as well as premises that are rented out for offices. The height of the 21-story building is about 64 m. There are 9 clusters in the house, each of them is highlighted with the help of materials and finishing colors. Also, each block has its own internal layout, different types of apartments and special entrances. The residential complex has a bright, unusual design, and its main highlight is a large hole in the facade, which is located at a height of 36.8 meters above the ground. This space has been set aside for public use. It was planned that an observation deck and a garden would be organized in it, but, as sometimes happens, the project diverged from reality. For its unusual hole, the house received its second unofficial name from the locals, Bin Laden's house. By the way, it should be said that this building cannot be called some kind of elite, where wealthy residents live. This is an ordinary residential building, the apartments in which belong to ordinary people, with laundry on the windows, garbage in the yard and difficult teenagers. The ambiguous visual solution of the building caused a lot of criticism. The building was included in the rating of unsuccessful architectural objects of the British edition of the Daily Telegraph.